Wednesday night hockey in Chicago gave us a great battle between the Hawks and the Wild. But man, you cannot make this stuff up. The Blackhawks got absolutely robbed by the refs again. And at this point, it's getting beyond frustrating. It started with that ridiculous no-goal call on Bertuzzi against Vancouver, a call that still makes zero sense no matter how many times you watch the replay. Then came the missed calls against Buffalo, Seattle, and Colorado. Over the past few weeks, each one somehow worse than the last. And now last night, the Hawks get slapped with that brutal interference call on Ilya Mikheyev. Outside of the Buffalo game, every single one of these calls or flat-out non-calls directly swung the outcome. If Chicago ends up missing the playoffs by a single spot sitting just outside the wildcard picture, you can trace it right back to the officiating, and that would be a brutal way for any season to be defined. Which brings me back to a question I asked in my last video. Why do the refs never have to face the music after nights like this? Players have to answer for their mistakes, coaches have to answer for theirs. Everyone else is held accountable, except the guys making the game-changing calls, and that's what makes it so frustrating. These officials can swing momentum, wipe away goals, dictate outcomes, yet they don't have to go stand in front of a camera and explain a single thing. No breakdown, no reasoning, nothing. It's a joke how bad the officiating has been all year league-wide. And it's a shame, because a call that bad completely overshadowed what was a great effort from Chicago. The Hawks deserved a far better chance in overtime. Chicago came out flying in the opening frame, controlling pretty much every inch of the ice and outshooting the Wild 20-5. It was one of the best periods they've had all year, and the momentum carried straight into the second. Jason Dickinson opened the scoring after a brutal Minnesota turnover put the puck right on a tee for him. He stepped into a sneaky one-timer and buried it, giving Chicago the lead. And then Bedard was doing Bedard things. He sparked a gorgeous passing sequence with Bertuzzi and Rinzel, then finished it off to make it 2-0 Chicago. Right after that, it looked like Bert had made it 3-0, but the play was clearly offside. But with the way the officiating has been around the league this year, I was half expecting them to just let it stand. Minnesota would find life late in the period, getting on the board in the final minute, thanks to a strange Brock Faber floater that fooled Knight. The Wild would even things up early in the third period, but then we finally got an arty party. Off a gorgeous setup from Connor Bedard, Artem Levshinov backhanded home his first career NHL goal, and it was an absolute beauty. The look of relief on his face said everything. The kid's now fourth in rookie scoring with a goal and 11 assists. He played one of his best all-around games of the season. Artie was everywhere tonight. He hit 2 posts, walked the blue line with confidence on the power play, and made several strong defensive reads to shut down plays. He finished with 7 shot attempts, 3 on net, and with him on the ice, the Hawks outshot the Wild 11-3. Chicago also held an 8-3 edge in scoring chances and didn't give up a single high-danger look while he was out there. That's an elite impact from a rookie. Unfortunately for Chicago, Minnesota answered right back after Levshinov's goal, tying the game again. And as I mentioned off the top, they'd eventually win it on that gift-wrapped power play, a call that never should have happened in the first place. Before the game, Jeff Blashill made one thing crystal clear. He wanted the Hawks to shoot the puck more, and they absolutely got the message. Wyatt Kaiser fired 2 shots in the first 16 seconds. And from that point on, it felt like Chicago was letting it fly from everywhere. By the end of the night, they'd outshot the Wild 37-24. The frustrating part is that Chicago has now dropped 4 straight, but the record doesn't tell the full story. They should have had a real chance to win at least 2 of those games, if not for some brutal breaks and even worse officiating. And as tough as it may be to watch right now, it is part of the process. This group has taken massive steps forward this season. They're playing harder, faster, and with way more structure than in past years. They're still learning how to close out these tight games, and that's really been the biggest problem all year. But it'll come. The fact they blew a 2-0 lead, regrouped, and took it back says everything. This isn't the same team from the last few years that would crumble at the first sight of adversity. It's almost December, and the Hawks are only 2 points out of a playoff spot. I know a lot of us didn't have that on the bingo card heading into this season, Connor Bedard spent the entire night doing what he always does. He's now up to 33 points in 23 games. And with another 2-point performance tonight, he's already hit 10 multi-point games on the season. He also continues to take real steps in the face-off circle, going 7 for 14. Another night, another reminder that we've got a special player here, and he's still getting better. Overall, there was a lot to like tonight. Some great stretches of hockey, some tough moments, and an absolutely brutal call mixed in. Making a call like that in overtime is just weak. The Hawks face Nashville tomorrow, and at this point, all we can do is hope they actually get a fair shake, because recently, they really haven't. That's all for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this. Let's go Hawks.